this is the biggest thing for me, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Learning how to communicate is gonna help. If we think money is in the way of your relationship, more than likely it's how you communicate about money.
It's so funny because I was waiting to just say I was thinking about this, and it sounds like so cliche. Like people ask, we've been married for 27 years, 27 and a half, and people ask what the key is. And it's super cliche, but communication is like key.
Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Erica Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it.
The For Better and Worth podcast is sponsored by American Heritage Credit Union, a not-for-profit credit union that helps you take control of your financial future.
As a member of American Heritage, you're an owner. You'll be charged fewer fees, earn more in the form of dividends on your accounts, and have access to lower rates on loans.
Whether your goal is to save for a down payment on a home, create an emergency fund, or build for the retirement you've always dreamed of, American Heritage has the products, resources, and solutions you need.
After all, American Heritage is for the people, not for profit. So to learn more, go to ahcu.co/for better and worth.
Hey babe, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. I am feeling good.
Yeah, I am feeling like I'm ready for spring.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Your whole demeanor changed. Like,
listen, if I have to deal with this dog one more time and his antsiness.
Cabin fever.
He has complete cabin fever.
Dude is cooped up. It's too cold to be out walking dogs.
It is. And so...
And it don't even matter where you live. Where you live in Charlotte, in Texas, other than like California, Arizona, and far west, everybody else, it is freezing.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
They got snow in places that you would not be expecting snow to be. So.
Oh my gosh, it's nuts. So I'm excited for the snow to melt so that I can go on a walk with my dog. This is my little thing, and we have movement. He gets tired. All is right in the world. All is not right in the world when he is bothering me and he's pawing at me saying, "Mommy, can we go outside?"
Because he come over to me, I'll be like, "Hey.
You better go sit down somewhere."
Hey, back it up, bro.
That's my little moment. I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously we need our vitamin D and sunlight is so good for you. But I feel like something about hitting my feet on the pavement. I think it's also just being a runner and, being like forced. I'm forced to get out because of the dog. Like, I think those things it's grounding for me and I miss it.
It's interesting you say grounding because when we were talking about what we were going to discuss today, I think grounding is something that a lot of people need and require because unfortunately, when you think about relationships like divorce, it's a 50% divorce rate. So when you get married, it's like you got 50% chance that you're going to make it and 50% chance that you're not. Yeah. And unfortunately, we have just encountered a lot of people who have been in the ladder where they haven't made it. I mean, they've been married for 20 and 25 years and have called it quits after that. And in a lot of those situations, money was the thing that really got in the way of them having success.
Yes. So, I mean, it's a common thread.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not everything, but let's be real clear. You and I didn't have great role models when it came to our parents being married for a long period of time. And so we wanted to increase our chances of success in marriage, which means staying happily married for the rest of our lives. Not just married for the rest of our lives, but actually happily married for the rest of our lives. And I
still like you.
I still like you too.
Yeah.
And that's important.
That's very important.
So the thing that I think we wanted to make sure was not in the way was money fights.
Yeah.
And
I mean, money is one of the big reasons that a lot of people choose to get divorced because, like you and I, we got married. I just say it, we were broke and we were like equally matched because you had about the same amount of debt. You had car loans, student loans. I had, car loans, student loans. We had some credit cards. It was almost
identical.
Tit for tat.
Yes.
And so we put it all together. We were like, hey, we got a bigger pool of mess together.
Yeah.
But then we also started on day one putting our money together.
Yeah,
it
we
was
did.
never, well, your money, my money, we're going to split the bills. It was, okay, we're going to put all this in a bucket, the debt and the money, and we're going to create a pathway forward. And so I think that aligned us from the get-go.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I'm going to pay the mortgage and you're going to pay everything else.
Yeah. Well, I think we could do that, and we have continued to do that because there was trust.
Yeah.
The biggest reason why it would not work for someone is if they don't trust their partner.
Right. But then that says a lot if you are getting married or you're in a relationship, but you don't trust this person. Like, should you be in that relationship to begin with?
Right. Now, we can have trust in other areas, but not with money. And I'm going to put it out there because I don't know that I said this on the podcast before, but that was one of the things in my parents' relationship that fell through the cracks is that my mother couldn't trust my dad with money. And it wasn't one of the bigger reasons why they didn't make it, but it was a reason.
Right.
And so, but I do think it's more common than we give it credit for in that regard. Like, and I think in the early days, we likely were like, we didn't want to say the word divorce. Like, that wasn't something we actually wanted to even speak out.
Early days, we still don't talk about that.
Well, right. But the word is not the issue.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that is behind it that becomes the issue. And because all of these people around us are facing this decision, separation, divorce, etc., it forces us to have conversations about what it means to strengthen our own relationship in light of what we're seeing.
It's really sad. Just I see, friends and, so on. They've been married for a long time and, then they decide to break up. And then when people share with you some of the things that are going on, some of the things at the heart of it is like selfishness, because one person is literally putting themselves ahead of the other person or they're first in the situation, and then when you have kids, that just further complicates the situation. But I see a lot of it going back to selfishness. And trust is a big thing. Like, if you get married and you start out like from day one, we're going to have separate accounts. It's like, why are you choosing to do that? You more concerned about preserving what you have. Maybe one person makes more money than the other person. So it's like there's an inequity. So you want to try and maintain some power or balance. And
You said the word.
What, power?
Power.
Yeah.
Power. The other word I'm going to add is control.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that is not something that you and I have had to deal with, is a power struggle or one of us who was controlling.
Yeah, controlling.
Because it could be anybody.
Yeah.
But normally, I'm going to say as a professional, a financial coach, is that the one who makes the money,
The most money.
is the one who who feels they can and should control what happens and who wants to maintain the power.
Hey.
And that is, it's independent.
For the love of money.
Hey, listen. And so then you have to wonder what's behind that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, really, because I said selfishness for all those other reasons. It's control, it's power, it's whatever. It's self-preservation, self-interest, because look, I make the money and whatever, I'm just saying as an example, I make the money, so I get to dictate how the money is spent. And is that really partnership? That's not. That's like dictatorship. You know, we're going to do this. I'm not going to seek your input or judgment. Then what kind of relationship does that build for you? Because if you're operating in parallel fashion, like on two separate tracks, that's not unison. That's not one accord. And then down the road, you almost shouldn't be surprised if things go awry.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that one thing to pay attention to when you're trying to understand how to make the money work in your relationship is you need to figure out where you agree.
Yeah.
So the one thing...
It's a good place to start.
Yes. So you may not start with a budget. You may not start with the numbers. You and I agreed that we wanted to get out of debt.
Yes.
We didn't know anything else. So we
knew that one thing, we were going to focus on this.
Exactly. So we figured if we get out of debt, then we have a stronger foundation for our financial life and subsequently our marital life. I don't even think today we always agree on methods. You know what I mean? Like the way you calculate money is different than the way I calculate money.
I do real regular math.
I do it right.
You do like girl math sometimes.
No, I don't. Don't start. See? What is girl math? What is girl math? Huh?
Be like, I saved you such and such.
Now I do that.
You know, so it's like we still spent money.
We did. But
we don't, I'm joking. I mean, you are definitely, you get into the numbers.
I love the numbers.
But it works because I'm a strategist. Mm-hmm. So I set a lot of the strategy and direction, and then you take the numbers.
You cast the vision.
Yeah, vision, strategy is synonymous.
Because I'm a strategist too.
It's synonymous though in this situation.
This is why you might say girl math is because
this is why
I strategize.
This is why I'm saying, like, listen to what I'm saying right now. I set the vision and strategy.
Really?
And then I seek your input though.
You set the vision and strategy?
Yes.
All the time?
I said I seek your input.
It's not independent though.
Here we go.
See? It's not independent.
No,
we have a vision.
We talk a lot about money and direction and strategy. So yeah, it's not just me.
Mm-hmm. We're a team. But I think you are better with the bigger picture. And then and I do spend a lot more time on the details.
Yeah, the tactical, the day-to-day, you get into that. But I think it's those things together that make it work.
It does, because guess what? If we didn't focus on the day-to-day, the day-to-day could get out of hand.
And if we didn't focus on the big picture, we wouldn't be accomplishing not only our short, but our long-term goals as well.
That part. So it works. And so I think people have to figure out where they agree in terms of what they're going to do. So I've never been,
I joke and, I've never been a guy who's like, I run things, I'm in control.
Yeah. You're not a dictator.
That's not my mentality, because I value partnership. Yeah. I value what you bring to the table. I value your intellect and your input and insights, because, 4 eyes are better than two minds are better than one, because you see things slightly different. Sometimes it makes me take pause sometimes and reevaluate and then go back, come up with better solutions. That's how partnership should work.
Yes.
Because if it's, not a partnership, it literally is a dictatorship. And you're only going to get what one person has the ability and scope to see.
Right.
So, and you could limit yourself based upon the limitations you have on your own person with your ability to see a bigger picture. So
this is really, really important. When I met you, and when we met, I was attracted to you physically. You were attracted to me physically, because we didn't we saw each other first, right? And it wasn't like somebody connected
I
us.
was like, what's up, girl? So how you doing?
You're so funny. Anyway, so it's funny how you get to know a person beyond their physical attributes. And one of the things that we each had in common was that we were in college at the time.
Right.
We were intelligent people. We were getting degrees, and it's attractive. In addition to, as time goes on, you learn more about them, and you're like, okay, so I like this about them. I like this about them.
You like that I had a real job.
I did.
At that point, I was working and going to college. You was like, this dude is out here hustling.
He don't play. He don't play games. And I loved it. So my thing is, if we were to disagree, and I'm just saying in general terms, not us, but just like everybody, you're attracted to a person for a lot of different reasons. One of which is likely because they're smart or they're witty or they're good at something. And when we're talking about money, sometimes we act like they're not smart or that we're smarter than them.
Yeah.
And I just said this to another financial wellness professional. I said, you and your partner are likely having challenges because you think you know it all. Your spouse is probably also very, very intelligent, but because you're in this space, you potentially might diminish what that person is bringing to the table.
You said it. You said something that just nobody likes to know it all.
So that's the thing. Like you like me for a reason, and I like you for a reason. Part of that reason is intelligence, you being smart and capable of doing things, especially with finances. We don't need to diminish that, even if we disagree. Disagreement doesn't mean that a person is not smart or not capable of learning harder, challenging things where money is concerned. And I think we can take that for granted, and you do that more often than not. And that causes a bigger challenge and a wedge in the relationship.
I go back to, it's about partnership.
Yeah.
Because in partnership, or even just in business in general, you bring people to the table that have multiple perspectives. You know, you have somebody who has an operations lens, somebody who has a sales lens, somebody who has a financial lens, somebody who can set vision and direction for the company. And it's all of that together that can work in harmony to create outcomes.
Yes.
And you have to look at relationships the same way. Like, we each bring things to the table that you're good at and that I'm good at. And we leverage those attributes for the good of our household. And I think things can go awry when, you said it, when somebody is a know-it-all and they think they know better, and then they start to operate in secret. They're like, you know what? I'm going to do this over here because I think this is the thing that we need to do to move us forward financially. The next thing you know, they've got other loans or, you know, just different things that they haven't discussed. They come home with new cars or make purchases without consulting one another. And that's crazy. Whenever I hear about somebody showing up at home with a car and they ain't discuss it with their spouse, I'm like,
whoa.
I'm like, boy, they need to have a 3 or 4 or 5 day recidivism period.
Oh, to take that junk back.
Take it back. A return period.
See, listen, let me tell you. With cars,
a 3-day remorse period.
So I have heard this on multiple occasions. A vehicle being purchased without the other partner's knowledge, a trip being paid for without the other person's knowledge. I can't tell you how many times the total amount of credit card debt isn't disclosed.
Right.
And so when we're talking about secrets, there is a reason you don't want to share. Let me finish this real quick. Mainly the reason is because you didn't want to talk about whatever it was ahead of time. So you can get clarity about what's in the way. Sometimes it's embarrassment. Sometimes it's you just want to do something and you don't have enough money to do it. But it's okay to talk about that with the person that you pledge your love to.
So that made me think that's why you have to have tools that you utilize. Like we use Monarch Money.
Yes.
And we put all of our accounts in there and we both have access. And like I get notifications all the time, like, you know, you're coming up to the limit on this area of your budget, or this was spent. And you asked me things about, like for a long time, we didn't really have credit cards at all. And we really don't use credit cards now unless it's, you know, big purchases. Just, it's not a big thing that we do a lot. But you'll be like, hey, what is this? Because you can see it all. There's no hiding, you know? So I think that is why it's so important to have some visibility and some guardrails and control mechanisms in place so you can't get yourself in trouble.
Yes.
Over here.
And I would say if you have a hard time with transparency, then have a conversation about where that's coming from. Yeah. It's okay to say, in the past, this has been a challenge area for me. It's okay to say, I work hard for my money and there's this part of me that wants to keep some to myself. That's fine to say. Y'all can figure out how to move through it. And I think that's really, really important. I think we were more worried about not being aligned. We didn't have the trust issues because we were so young. We didn't have a whole lot of experience prior to our relationship.
We didn't know any different.
Absolutely, that part, right? So I think that you have to get to the underlying issue.
Yeah, but I think sometimes people can get themselves in trouble without that because maybe they have some habits that they need help, you know, dealing with, you know, gambling or other types of addictions or whatever it could be. And people try to hide that. Then it starts to come out and surface in the relationship because it gets revealed you were spending money on this thing over here. And it's like, then next thing you know, the marriage relationship is blown up because there's these secret debts. And, you know, and I say it goes back to making these independent financial decisions that I attribute to selfishness. I attribute to trying to keep those secrets so you can be the one that's at the wheel driving. And, you know, I be trying to pass the driving wheel over sometimes. I won't sit in the passenger seat once in a while.
What does that look like, babe?
It looks like we go to the garage and we get in the car. I get in the passenger seat.
I hate that. I literally want you to drive every single time we're in the car. I'm not even going to lie.
I know you do. And after I get in the passenger seat, sometimes I want you to pull over so we can switch seats and I can get in the driver's seat.
You know what? I'm happy to do so. I
think you be doing stuff
I want to be driving Miss Daisy. I want to be Daisy. I need you to be driving me.
No, you want to be passenger princess.
I do.
Because if you get in the back, I'm like, we're not going nowhere.
No. I'm never going to get in the back.
Uber.
I'm never going to get in the back. But listen.
I think you be doing stuff behind the wheel to make me nervous.
Let me tell you something.
Pull over.
I have not been in an accident in many, many years. Okay. First of all.
Bless the Lord.
But second of all, I handle myself behind the wheel just fine.
You do.
Okay. The problem is you always got something to say about my driving. Yeah, so I'm like, well, clearly you want to drive because you telling me what to do.
You've been professionally trained as I have as a driver, you know, it is what it is.
So have at it. Be the professional driving Miss Daisy. Baby, I love it. I'm good. Like literally, I'm good. Right. You know, for real.
So funny.
So anyway, but here's what I appreciate about our relationship is that we are both emotionally available to have conversations. I don't think we've had a ton of hard conversations. We haven't had secrets that needed to be divulged. We didn't have, you know what I mean? Things like that. But I think part of it is because we have really tried hard to discuss things before they become issues. And even when we get on each other's nerves, if you say, I just need a minute, or your posture is, I'm going in the basement, I'll let you be there. Like, I'm not about to come follow you and be like, hey, baby, please. Like, when you ready, we going to have a conversation because it's going to make it worse.
I think it's more productive. It's more fruitful to just give some space.
Right.
And give some time. And cooler heads prevail most times when, like, even if you're in an argument, which, thank God I won't do a whole lot of arguing, but it's like cooler heads can prevail when you just take a pause, because I never want to be in a situation where I say something that I've got to walk back and then try and mend and repair. And we've talked about this in the past, fighting isn't fair. And sometimes the damage you can leave is irreparable.
So there have been times when I'm like emotional about something and I'm like, just let me say this through my tears, right? Let me just express myself through the tears, just listen. And there have been times when I have told you, don't pay attention to my tears. Just, I understand they're here and I might cry, but I just need to say this.
You just need to get it out.
I just need to get it out.
Yeah.
And you just sat there and listened. And I think when we give each other the freedom to put up the ground rules for the conversation, that just makes it easier. So for instance, if we're talking about a money situation where we're like, okay, somebody has to divulge that there's this credit card that the spouse didn't know about. It's like, all right, so I'm going to tell you something and I just really want you to listen without judgment. And I just want you to hear me fully out. And they say, I have this credit card that has $5,000 on it that I opened, whatever. And they just go through.
Mother sucker.
That is not going to be helpful. And guess what? That spouse is not going to want to tell you anything else ever again, okay? Because they don't feel supported, right?
Right.
But likely, I mean...
It's getting hot in here. Is it me?
But I think that it's important. It is totally fair game to have ground rules and say, this is what I need from this conversation in order for it to be successful. And we need to do that with our money.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, babe, when can you talk about the budget? Because we did this the other day. I said, is this morning a good time since you don't have any calls?
Yeah, my mind was somewhere else though.
Right. And so I asked and you were like, okay. And then we talked for like 10 minutes and then you had a thought about this other thing that was in the back of your head anyway. And you were like, when you said it, I said, okay, this isn't a good time. Right. You need to go ahead and finish whatever it is that you were doing and get that off your mind, because it wouldn't have been as productive and I wouldn't have felt heard. Yeah. Right. And so I just really, can I just say, this is the biggest thing for me, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Learning how to communicate is gonna help. If we think money is in the way of your relationship, more than likely is how you communicate about money.
It's so funny because I was waiting to just say I was thinking about this, and it sounds like so cliche. Like people ask, we've been married for 27 years, 27 and a half, and people ask what the key is. And it's super cliche, but communication is like key. It's the biggest part because you need to know how. I always remember when I coached our youngest daughter played soccer. I coached girls soccer for 7 years. Yeah. And coaching like preteen and, even teenage girls in soccer. Ooh, Jesus. They worked my patience. And I will always say to them, you have 2 of these and 1 of these. And which one should you use more?
Oh my goodness.
And I would tell them, you need to listen twice as much as you speak. Yeah. And it's the same thing in relationships. You sometimes need to just listen and listen more than you speak, because sometimes we'll just speak and be saying things and it's like, you're talking out the side of your neck. And then, like I said, you got to walk it back and you got to try and repair. You done created damage and now you patching walls because you didn't damage things, And so sometimes it's so important to just take that pause. And I've learned that taking a pause is okay. It's not a bad thing, because it's one of the foundations of communication is to make sure that you understand, that you've heard it, you've processed it, and then you've evaluated and you've come back and you can say, this is what my thoughts are, opposed to in the moment, it's you in a little shootout, bang, 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 bang. Then somebody hurt, and you at the hospital.
So this is a learned behavior.
Yeah.
Because, if I'ma just say it, you was probably you weren't a hothead with me. But back in your day, you have many stories about getting into fights when you was in high school.
Oh, Jesus. I was such a different person.
You were. And so,
but you know what? I had anger issues in life, just familial things that weren't dealt with, and it took me years to just grow and mature. And even as a young man, I was pretty focused because I just made some decisions in my life. But if you're in a relationship and you don't deal with the underlying things that relate to you, it's gonna spill over into every other facet of your life. So it's a lot about, I take time out, like, you know what? I just want to just take a moment, get myself together, because the only person I can control in this is me. And the only person you can control is you. And so if you think about that, I think that will cause a lot less friction.
yes.
And we won't be sitting here talking about, dang, money got in the way of so many relationships and people called it quits after, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. It's like at that point, it's like, geez, man, that's a long time to just be like, I'm out.
Babe, you're not getting out of this alive.
Oh, dang. That sounds like a threat. Jesus. It's like, whoa. Like, okay.
You've often said, if I pack my bags.
Where we going?
See?
Yeah, what you doing?
Right.
Where we going?
Yep.
Yeah, because you
we
ain't
going
packing
together.
you ain't packing no bags going nowhere without me.
Because we going together. I think.
Right. Go in the other room. Take you a time out.
Matter of fact, neither one of us have ever spent time on the couch.
Oh, no, I told you a long time ago, I ain't sleeping on the couch.
We'll turn each other's back, we'll do the back.
I'm not, got this nice bed. Man, sleeping on the couch. But
I think, okay, so let me get to my make it worth it. So I feel like the longer you delay in having conversations, be it about money or otherwise, in your relationship, the more damage that can be done. Don't sweep it under the rug. Figure out how to communicate. Now, I do think that it's important for you to figure out where your challenges lie. If there are trust issues and you, like internally, what is my problem before I go and have this conversation with this partner that I love. And if you can identify your own shortcomings or places where you need to work or money hangups, that is a better recipe for coming to the table and saying, babe, this is where I messed up, or this is what I need to work on. But here's what I'm committed to with us. That is very helpful. But don't let things go for a long period of time, because they're going to fester and become bigger and become bigger and become bigger. So that is my make it worth it.
That's good.
What about you, babe?
It sounds a little like mine. Just, I don't know. I go back to the same thing. And I said time and time again, make communication the foundation you're going to stand on. Like, we talked about doing things that were selfish, or in secret, or, independent of the other person. But that's all surrounds a lack of communication. Like, because if I'm being selfish and I focus solely on me, there's something behind that. I feel in danger, or like something's going to happen that's going to negatively impact me. So I need to be able to communicate that. And it's okay to communicate things, good, bad, and different. It's just, I tell people this all the time. When I led people and teams, I told them, I said, it's not the story, it's how you tell the story that can make a difference. Because if you come at somebody and it's like aggressive or hard line versus you have a much softer approach, but you can get your point across, I think you get different outcomes. So for me, communication is the foundation that you have to set and decide that you're not going to let yourself get off to one side or the other. So.
Yeah. I'm under no illusion that this podcast is the end all be all, but my hope is that we made some deposits, shared a few little nuggets for people to tag onto. And so hopefully, and honestly, that's partly why we've done this, is because we do feel like in talking about money matters and different ways to do so is helpful in relationships. So hopefully that's just a little food for thought today.
And we want to just be real and give people something that's not always so curated that it doesn't feel real. And we hope that we just continue to do that. So just keep pressing like, follow, and subscribe. And until next time,
we're out.
Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on forbetterandworth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.